And we're live.
We're live. Are we live on Facebook? We've got to go over to
That's
YouTube
the
and find
kind.
out. I want to look at
Will
YouTube
we?
to see if we're live.
Will we ever know? Is the real question.
I
Will we
know.
know if
Will we
we're live?
know if anybody's out there in this world? I mean, that's when you need to have, if anybody's listening to us, we're testing StreamYard because we're going to start doing some fun and exciting things together on this. And so we're playing right now to see if it works. Okay. Um, yeah, you need
It
definitely to have
shows testing.
you definitely need to
Sorry.
have, like, 2 devices open, I guess, to be able to see your YouTube too. So that's why people have it on their phone or their iPads at the same time. Now I understand.
I
I've had
know,
people
right? Like,
interview me, and I thought they were just being rude because they kept picking up their phone in the middle of while they were interviewing me and doing stuff. Well, they were watching their own they were
they're
watching.
just saying
Right, and I thought, "That's so
if
rude.
it
I
was
can't believe."
actually happening.
I thought, "I can't believe they're interviewing me and they're looking at their phone."
Oh, so that's so cool. This is
Okay,
exciting.
I've gotta go see
I'm
this.
enjoying this. Yeah, so I just pulled up YouTube and it comes up because my channel and your channel are on my subscriptions, and because we're live, it shows up at the top
Oh, my
and
screen
it
is
says
still
what
jammed
we're
up.
live.
Whatever's going on with my other computer, I need to turn my I don't know what's going on with this computer. I just bought that computer on Black Friday, so it's not like I've had it long. And I bought 2 because I've been burning up computers with all the energies that are coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to introduce yourself? I don't know how long we're going to sit here and talk today or what we're going to talk about.
Well, I think we're just gonna say we're gonna be doing some cool stuff. Well, what I really want to do is play a little bit, and see what it would look like. I say, hey, use Spanish to customize your blah 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 blah. Oh, I see. I'll get the point then. Hey,
What do you customize
y'all.
in StreamYard? Because there's all kinds of stuff you can do. We can have brand colors with this and have a different little frame around us. Oh, yeah. See, we can do that. All of that stuff. I didn't get into any of that today. I was just trying to figure
Yeah.
out how to turn it on.
Well, that's not saying you kind of gotta play around because otherwise you will always just feel like you don't know what's going on, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's with everything in life. When we sit and then we don't move because we're not sure, then nothing changes. It's like you have to sometimes just jump in and go for it. Jump in and go for it, which is
Cool.
what
So
we're
I
doing.
guess you can put like, and now we're in our transits to know about segment.
Yeah.
And oh, cool. So then the brand, you just really gotta have something. Let me get one of my colors from
Oh, I see us. I got it on.
the
Now, see, I'm
color
going to be one of
dropper.
those rude people. See us on the phone. I'm going to hold my phone and watch stuff while we're talking.
While we're talking in the
I can't
midst
believe
of,
that. I mean, I was on this one with this one person, and she kept like doing this the whole time. And I thought, this is the rudest interview I've ever been on in my life. It's like going to lunch with my daughter, and the whole time she just
was it Zoom though? Because Zoom I can
no,
get because like,
we were on StreamYard. We were on
uh,
StreamYard, and I was a guest on her YouTube, no, her Facebook group. And the whole time I was talking, she was on Zoom and they couldn't see her, but it was just like us together that you could see each other. And I was talking and she was like doing this and she was scrolling and stuff. But she could have been looking at comments and things. Now I can like get
yeah.
over that because I always thought it was like the most rude thing I've ever been on. So I'm gonna
Well, that's the thing, because like, okay, let's say, like you can comment on the like you're in there, right? Comment on your phone,
let's see.
and it should come up. It should come. Let me see how to get out of here.
Oh, I can hear us. Now I can hear us. Now we're a little bit okay.
Behind.
So what happened? Did it come up over here in our things? I just put hi,
Well, I'm stuck in the Brandon thing. Oh, I gotta click off.
but it's not showing on our it's
It
not
did.
showing on our box here.
Here you go. You see it?
No, I don't see it on my chat box. You see it on the chat box?
You gotta go to comments. You clicked on comments,
Oh, I see now. Okay.
and then when I click show, if you hover over the comment and show it, then
Yeah,
that's
then
what
it's
comes
going
up
to
on
come
the
up over
screen.
here. Okay. That's how they do that part.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And so we're delayed on this for where we're in real time. Like this is a little bit behind us. It's
Well,
like
it's
an echo.
probably a good thing. I don't know. Yeah, but the branding can put in there pretty quick.
Okay. I don't
So
need to listen to that
I
twice.
could make I could make a background and stuff if you want.
Yeah, we could do whatever. We can do all kinds of stuff on it. We should look at air
Mm-mm.
designs, our human design, and what we should do the combined chart of what that being of that entity is, and then use our brand colors from that or our combined astrology stuff. Um,
It's
that's
gonna
one of the
That's so interesting. I wonder what it is.
what I wanted
I
to
think I got it
something
up.
I stumbled across lately was to use your North Node colors, or no, yeah, North Node, and then your progress sun like as your colors if you're changing branding colors. So your North Node, and see, my North Node is Leo, and right now I'm in a progress chart of a Leo because I'm natally a Libra. And it's interesting because I just had to start adding like golds and corals and oranges, in because
Mm,
I was turquoise and yellow before. And I had to like put those color bursts in there. And I think that's and then wearing the pink glasses because I was wearing turquoise glasses all the time. And so we feel that. I think sometimes the transits, like, we don't have to know all that stuff all the time, but when we have changes in ourself, even in our personalities, usually when you go track the astrology, or the transits in human design and gene keys, then you're in the middle of that transit, like you feel it, and something about your own identity wants to change. Have you ever noticed that?
well, for me, I'm really sensitive to um, like lunar transit. So I'm in so much flux all the time
Right.
that the larger progressions don't seem to impact me as much. Or I just am so busy trying to keep up with my lunar transit that I'm not paying attention to the
Yeah.
progression. Um,
I'm
so
really
yeah.
sensitive. I'm a full moon baby. So I'm sensitive to the new moons and the full moons. I notice those. Well, and probably maybe when the moon is going through some certain elements, I think I may feel it more that way, like that it's in water, like the moon's in water today. I don't know what it's in today. I didn't look to see so people don't think that that's where it's at because I didn't look to see.
Because we
but
don't actually know. No,
but I think
we
that
haven't
when
looked.
it's like I can tell if it's in a fire sign that I have more energy that day. Like
Yeah.
if it's in a water, if the moon's in a water sign, then I'm probably like all floaty and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I do
Quick
think I feel the
emotions for
elements.
me. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden feel super sad or all of a sudden feel super irritated.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let it be both, right? Because like there's the Pisces energies and it's been really strong.
Right.
And so for me, I mean, I'm already all water. I'm Cancer, Sun, and Moon, Scorpio rising, and and then my husband's a Pisces with a Cancer moon. That's my
Y'all
sun
got a
sign.
lot of water in that house.
Like there's so much going on, can I tell you? Like there's just a lot, and then but his rising is Aries. So it does, like when I say that man could take me from 1 to 1,000 in like 2 seconds, like I just feel like this is a happy lucky day, or this happy lucky day. I feel so bad. Like, because if he can say one thing and I feel like I did something wrong, which is really about me.
Well, it's the energies. You're being sensitive to the energies. My granddaughter, she's 5, and my mother, father, daughter, and granddaughter are all Cancer sons. Everybody is a Cancer. And now
all
when you
about
told me that you
us.
were a Cancer too, I was like, I didn't know she was a Cancer. And it's like I don't know. It's like I draw a lot of Cancers to me. It's the loving, nurturing energy, I guess. But I can really. My granddaughter is a Aquarius moon, and I can really her rising sign's Libra, but I can see I can tell she's moon sensitive, and she's more new moon sensitive. And I've meant to go look at her birth, her natal moon to see. I don't know what phase it was in. I don't remember. You know what?
Hmm.
She was
I think
yeah.
mine's.
I have to go back and look and see because I can I she's like wound up on the new moons. It's like I can really feel it with her, and then she kind of bounces off the walls on the full moons. And and I've told my daughter when she's okay, it's just the moon. She's just like, yeah, she's bouncing off the walls today. It's just the moon. And I even when I had her last Monday, because it was a new moon, I started talking to her about moon cycles. And I said, today's the new moon. And I was telling her about, when you look in the moon and it's 28 days, and then you can start feeling it in your own energy. And my daughter come through and kind of looked at me, but then I made it scientific and showed her the phases and what each one looks like. Instead of when I knew my daughter was listed, I quit being as woo woo with it, and then started being more like, okay, I'm teaching like things that she needs to know in life. So it was funny because I
It's
can't
like
tell.
these
And then,
are moon phases. Yeah.
yeah, and then we
I
did.
think I'm wanting moon or birth. Yeah, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah, it does. It packs us a lot. Like I can have, because I also track my cycles, a menstrual cycle, and
right.
I go by that energy. And so I can be deep luteal, but it'll be a full moon and can't sleep, can't, you know. So the moon overrules everything for me, which is not all that surprising, right? But
Well, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, the moon, that's I've been looking at more and more of that and in my own branding and about the moon and the energies of it. I was going to do that in my like mastermind class, teach people how to do their marketing by the moon. I think we talked about that a little bit because it's like there is an influence there. And I mean, scientifically, they know the moon changes the tides. We know
right,
that
right.
the tides change with the ocean. So look how much water we are. These DNA skin suits are full of water. So it's
Yep.
going to affect you. You're going to feel it when
Yeah, well, I call, and our sensitives would feel it regardless. In my opinion, like when you have empaths and you have that capacity for feeling energy, like you're going to feel it. You just don't know why you're feeling those things.
right.
And that's one of the things that really changed my life about astrology, because it made me feel less crazy, because I was
Yeah, exactly.
having these emotions all the time for no apparent reason, right? No apparent reason. And so when I was able to say, oh, this is what's going on in energy, that makes so much sense, because I felt this the other day, or this is happening in my relationships. Um, and it was crazy. Feels like it comes out of nowhere, because everything was fine up until dot dot dot. right?
Right, and you can time it. I mean, you if you go back and look at the transits, it's like to the moment. Um, the last relationship that I like lived with somebody, he was an astrologer. And so if we had a day that just suddenly it was like, what happened to us? Like this morning was fine and there's something going on. And I would hear a little voice go, tell him to go look at the transits, go look at your charts together. And and if I told him that because, his brain was trained in it and he would go look and he would come back and then it would be like, oh, well, this it's just this time, so then we just knew to go do different stuff and not try to be in that energy with each other. And,
Right.
because we were both healers, coaches. So, our first thing was to go work on it, like to deep dive into whatever the conflict was and go into our shadows and blah blah blah. And so we could spend, time doing that all the time. But sometimes I would hear, just go look at the transits. And it's like, oh, it's just the moon today, or your Uranus and my Saturn are doing this today. It would be that kind of energy, because we did
Yeah.
have something in our charts with that. And I would start feeling like I would start feeling smothered and like that I was being, restrained. And it was the air Uranus and our Saturn in our charts together. And so it was like, oh, we don't need to do shadow work today. It's just the transits. Sometimes as
Yeah.
healer,
You
you
know,
need to go in and look at yourself and turn everything inside out. And maybe that's because I'm Scorpio rising and you are too. I'm always going into the dark to
right.
to
It's like, what's
see,
the real reason
yeah,
this
what's
is
the real reason?
happening?
What made this happen today? I've got to go in and bring
Yeah.
something into the light. And then sometimes, no, it's just the moon.
Sometimes it's just, well, and I think that, relationship advice and people are talking about that stuff, I'm just like, or you just need to eat a sandwich. Like sometimes it's just life stuff and you just need to back off. Like deep
Yeah.
diving isn't going to help you, right?
Like, go take a pinch of
Um,
salt. Maybe you just need some electrolytes.
right. How much water have you drunk today? Like, what's really going on, like, and that's so funny because I think about that. I think it's true also for some of the things that we assign to energy or transits, and it's really, well, have you taken care of yourself today? Like, have you gone out,
Yeah,
or have
and
you,
which is
yeah.
first, the chicken or the egg, because it's like, because the mechanism is off, is that why we feel it more? It's like, is it more, because I mean, I was that way this morning. I told you, I was like, I was having all kinds of stuff. I also drank a cup of it was decaffeinated coffee, but I'm not sure that didn't help. I was, because I'd already had black tea, and then I did that, and I think that didn't help anything. It's like, what chemicals did I? Because I did go take some trace minerals, and I
Oh,
did some
okay.
trace minerals and some magnesium, and then went outside, and then even after I stepped outside, I heard, just go on and get in the shower again. And I do that. Well, I already took a shower today. It doesn't matter. Just like clear the energy off of yourself. And I could feel it. It was like, ooh, okay, I feel better. And I also, um, just doing this, oh, your
Mm,
meridians, and like it just felt so good. And it was like, okay, like I was clearing my meridians through my fingers. You don't have to go and
mm,
have a whole acupuncture session. You can, but it's like you can just do this to yourself. And it was like,
yeah,
and I was
self-care.
like,
I don't think I've ever
"Ooh,
done
that
that
was
before.
so
I'm gonna try
good."
that. So
Calming the energy
cool.
down.
So we do have somebody's paying attention.
Oh, we got somebody paying attention to us. I turned off my phone so I didn't hear it.
Hi, Ageless. Thanks for joining us. We're on private. We're really just testing things out. We haven't ever done this before, but we appreciate you showing up.
Yeah,
And
we first set it up to be private and unlisted. We were going to come in hid, and then it was like, no, let's just go live and we'll just talk about stuff, because it's like, I
well, you
think
got to
that,
figure it out. You got to
yeah,
figure out this technologies.
technology, and then too our own mouthpieces and what that's going to be. It's like, Just want to
Well,
talk.
how the conversation's gonna go. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I
But
think that
yeah,
that just coming on and whatever energies are coming up in the day, then that's what's coming up in the day. I was thinking when we were talking about the moon cycles even when I worked in the hospital back years ago when I worked in hospitals, uh, if you worked on 11 to 7 on a full moon Saturday night, you knew it was going to be crazy night. It's like all kinds
yeah,
of crazies would come in, babies would be born all night long. And even
yeah,
in the hospital, that was the thing, it's like, oh, who's on ER tonight? Because it's going to be, yeah. Because when I worked 11 to 7, I worked it by myself in the lab. So I had to run the whole lab and do everything. I'd look at the calendar to see because it's like, oh
yeah.
no, 11 to
Before
7
I
on
knew
full
anything
moon.
about energy and before I knew anything about astrology, I worked in several hospitals, and I promise you that is real life stuff. Like the I worked on a psych unit. So
Uh-huh.
like it's kind of like where people would go after trauma, so after emergency room stuff, after major surgery, and but they also had psych problems. And so holy cow, full moons were a show. Like were a show. And there is not a single nurse in a hospital who doesn't know that the full moon is a
Yeah.
different time.
I mean,
Right.
we would know it. It's like, oh, especially like it's like, oh, please don't let 4th of July or something crazy when people are doing, alcohol and things. Don't let it be a full moon night too. It's like that's the last
Yeah.
thing that you need on those kinds of nights. Yeah.
Well, and Daryl, my husband, kind of hyped me to that. He was like, "We aren't going out on holiday nights. We don't do New Year's Eve. We don't do da da da," because he had enough experience. He's a Pisces. He had enough experience that he was like, people get crazy, and when they get together, they get crazier, and then they get alcohol in their system, they get lunaticy, right? Like they start
Right, because
doing things.
everything they're porous then and everything's coming in and out of them.
Yeah, so he refused, and I was like, I guess that's true, And
Yeah.
it's so funny because we would be in towns like right at revitalization periods, like Durham was revitalizing when we were there, North Carolina,
Yeah.
and I was like, let's go see this fireworks, downtown, and something happened, something would happen downtown. He was like, no, we're not going, and he's very intuitive as well.
Right.
Yeah, so I feel like that moon for both of us are, um, his Cancer moon is the same degree as my sun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I feel like that we can really be on the same vibe because of that, but don't let his Aries come in because then I just want to punch him and he wants to like dismiss me forever. Like he's just like, I'm done.
What's your moon, did you say? Yours is your
Mine's
Cancer too.
also in Cancer. Yeah, it's also in Cancer, but it's just a different degree. But they're all bunched right up.
Yeah,
They're
they're
conjunct.
all
Yeah.
piled up together. I
Yeah.
had an astrology teacher a long, long time ago. Was the first person I did an astrology class with, and we were just talking, and she just said that. That's why I asked because she said out of all of the charts that she had done in relationship charts, that she was starting to see this pattern and that she believed, I don't even believe in twin flames, okay, but that was the words that she used. And she said that when she saw couples come together that they had the sun and moon of each other, that she believed
Oh,
that those were like twin flame energy coming together, and that she had
really?
just noticed that because at the time the relationship I was in, my partner, the one that crossed over, he was Taurus with Libra moon, and I'm a Libra with a Taurus moon. And she had she
Mm.
told me that then that she had seen that pattern and that she just had this sense and feeling that that's what that energy was. So that's why I was asking you. So I
Mm.
wonder what that means that you both have the same moon, but then yeah, so yours couldn't be opposite of his because it's the same one. So
Right.
yeah, that's really interesting.
Whoa, 10 planets. Like, so basically all of them? Wait a minute. 10. Or
You
you mean
got 10 planets
asteroids
in your
too?
12th house. Oh my goodness, in the Pisces house. Got is your sun there too? Your rising sign? Almost everything. What's not there?
What's not there?
Yeah,
Is
that's
everything over
weird.
there?
Not 10, but a lot.
That's what you have
Okay.
to use the what do they call it? The my generation. What is my generation? Millennial. You got to use the millennial like. I say like 10 moons, like 10 planets in my
Yeah,
soul.
right. I know.
It's a
I've got 4 things in my
qualification.
Scorpio, so that's enough. It's like, if I had not put that Libra sun there and that and the Taurus moon, oh Lord, it's like I would have just been collie all the time. It's
Oh
like when I look at my
no.
chart, when I first understood my chart, and it's like, oh no wonder I put a Taurus moon and a Libra sun with all that Scorpio energy because I would have just been which I did do the
Yeah.
first part of my life. Yeah. So we can tell at
Yeah.
least, if anybody does watch this, maybe we should set a day that we'll decide when we're going to do this and what time, and then we'll let you all know, and maybe we'll do that.
Well,
And
we
we
were
think,
thinking about Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific, and that would
which is
be
12 my time. Okay.
12 Central,
That's like
1
brunch and
Eastern.
lunch hour across
Brunch,
the
lunch, and astrology.
yeah, and then that's a good
But
time for people in other countries too. So we can so we'll tell so I'm Kimberly Crow and I am a destiny catalyst and I help renegades know who they are and to come here because and be embodied because you didn't come here to conform. And so I use my innate weird ass psychic abilities. And I am a
are
6-2 projector. Yeah, I'm a 6
highly
2.
discerning.
I'm a highly discerning 6-2 projector energy. So I'm a 6-2 projector in human
Quantum
design.
psychic abilities.
Yeah, we've already
Yeah.
talked about our astrology. So we both play in astrology. I don't like to call myself an astrologer because it's such a lifetime journey to really, I have so much respect for astrologers and it's so many depths and levels to it. But
Yeah.
it's like, and I have friends that go, why would you just go on and call yourself that? It's like, I'll always be a student of astrology. I haven't even
Yeah. I
really
feel the
got
same
into
way.
asteroids yet. And it's like, that's a whole more level of stuff. And I've played in astrology my whole life. Um,
Yeah. I still
and
consider myself a beginner, but I've been working with it going on 8 years now.
I know.
And so, well, maybe
There's no
closer to
ending
10.
to it because the you just go deeper and deeper in the journey with it. Um,
Yeah. And
and
I'm
then I
not a
do
studier. Like, I don't read books. I'm an more intuitive astrologer.
me
Yeah.
too.
So I would never really claim astrologer. Yeah.
I've never read an astrology book, but now I have in the last um few years. Well, during the situation we were in, I jumped more into astrology again. But when I look at my chart, it's like, oh, well, it was that time to be, that I went back into astrology. Um, when I took my first astrology class, what I
I
found out
mean,
was
I'm
that somebody
sorry. I gotta like back off because I feel like I said I don't read any books. Well, I don't read Western astrology books. I
right, right,
read
right. I
like
found
Gene
out I could
Keys. I
just
read Human Design. I
yeah,
read that kind of book. I don't read Western astrology books. Is what I meant.
yeah. I found out that I could just look at somebody's chart and, like you said, intuitively read it just like I would a teacup or anything. And then I quit kind of like trying to dive into it because I just would let it come to me. And then I kept having friends and relationships of astrologers because I decided that if I was going to manifest things, I wanted it to be friends of people that I wanted to listen to. And I had lots of astrology questions to ask to people, and I could listen to it all day long. So I did a lot of it in that way. But I do have Lori Lunian, Lunatic Astrology is her it's her YouTube channel. We'll have to bring her on here one day.
That's so funny.
She's
This
who I've
is
been
that weird.
studying with for the last couple years. But anyway,
Yeah. I
um,
mean, I have my favorites. There are so many brilliant astrologers I follow and I pay attention to. Not always, but often. But yeah, that's why I really wouldn't put myself in that cast because there's also like people like Kimberly who are beyond anything I can imagine as intuitives. But I have my own kind of senses and I know what works for me. So charts work for me, right? Like I get a lot of intuitive information from charts, like all charts for some reason.
right, the systems. Where's your
Yeah.
what's in your see my in human design, my earth is 53. It's systems. When I finally
Mm,
realized it's like, oh, that's what feeds me. And so I'm like a geek when it comes to some of that stuff. It's like
yeah.
I can go all in on it and then go, oh yeah, I did that. I forgot about that and kind of throw it away.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I chalk it out to my line 5 purpose, which is the gene key purpose key, because we have a way of sensing patterns and then figuring out how to make our lives more efficient. Like that's what the fifth line is. Um, and point 0.5 anything. So human design, if you have a point 0.5, it has that energy in there
mhm,
where it allows things to be impactful, right? So it's going to actually
right,
create change within your life and world. And you have that desire to do so, right? In that
right.
area. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look at each other's charts and that. So my stuff around that, I'm a human design god, and you and I also dabble with Gene Keys because I can't. How can you separate the two of them? And yours,
It's
you've
getting
been
harder and harder.
yeah. So you've went through the whole Gene Key guide. Is that what they call themselves? What do you call it?
Yeah, I'm a guides.
Okay.
Uh, I'm a Gene Key guide. I went
Yeah.
through the program. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about things like that and bringing in different things. So if you all have any kinds of anything you want us to talk about, I'm open to that.
Yeah.
Throw a subject at us and we'll discuss
Yeah,
it.
Angeles, what would you like us to expound upon? So that's our background, and we kind of do all the astrologies for be more intuitives than we're gonna pull out a book on you. Um, and we also love helping people get to the point where they're understanding their energy enough that they can go out and do something in the world. And
Yeah.
so, love talking business, I love talking about visibility. I talk about voice as a literal instrument of the body. And I talk about self expression. So, how are we voicing ourselves into the world, right? So, that is my lens, so to speak. So, any blocks that you have around being yourself, right? And uh, Kimberly is just amazing at being able to just see the actual structures energetically of what's going on with you and your business and where are the conflicts and what can really shift.
Yeah.
And then what we're hoping to do in this show is really to bring that together in a way that you can take bits and pieces, learn a little bit, maybe check out your own chart and see how it's applying for you, right?
Yeah. And any questions that they have with what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't, depending on whose channel you're listening to, my YouTube channel is Kimberly Crow Celestial Juju, and I'm doing astrology transits. Like I did one yesterday, and then I'm going to do a live call on my Facebook group and in the probably on the YouTube channel too, on Wednesday about the Venus transit, because Venus has been coming and talking to me. She's been coming and showing me things. And she showed me
Wow.
all about how much value is screwed up in humanity's consciousness. It is so messed up. And she's like the queen of value. When Venus comes in, she brings value and beauty to your life, and she sends out that magnetism energy to bring that to you. And I mean, she walked in, and we were both in a branding thing all week, with other people that do the kind of work we're doing. And it was really coming up in me because I can see what I call the distorted matrix. And I was seeing that here were these powerful women, healer, coaches, guides, all that stuff. And that how we still were carrying the distortion of in the value. And like when you think about,
Mm,
I mean, value is so messed up because there's been times that your value, it's like people were sold as slaves for their value. Like it's like it's so messed up in humanity's consciousness of what that word really is. So I'm going to talk about
yeah.
that Wednesday and do some clearings with it, because that's been coming up, and Venus is bringing in the energy because she wants to help us. And I see planets like that. I don't see astrology as that it's some fated thing. It's a map that we have that we can use to create our own destiny with. And the planets are allies. And you can call them in just like you can any kind of ally, and they will bring the energies for you. So that's what's been going on with me right now. I'm
Exactly.
going to be talking about stuff like that. And what all do you do on your YouTube channel?
I do Gene Keys. So I do a series called Gene Keys with Monifa. I also pop in every now and again and just talk about the same kind of things, like what is coming up with people that they're just we're really blind to because of usually some kind of society, how we approach life in our society and in our family systems, right? And how it's getting confused. Uh, a lot of not creating a lot of block is, in my vision, is about the fact that we are assuming things based on our perspectives and we aren't connecting to what is. And when those get obfuscated, then we get lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ageless is saying, I love this. I am very interested in energy. My big thing is procrastination. I'm really working to get clear a lot of stuck energy in the body. So that's all that came up in your comment on that one, on our little thing that lets us see comments. But yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. And I love talking about procrastination because it is such one of those things, what they call it, that has gaslighted people. It's one of those things because
Yeah, I'm trying to figure
procrastination
out
is
how
a
to use that
lot of
as my
buckets.
superpower, because I blame, and me being a projector, I know that sometimes I get, because I have the channel of ideas, so I get ideas, ideas, ideas. They're not all my ideas. They could be some random person driving down the street's idea. But because they were close enough within 15 minutes to me, I got this big ass idea for some business or something. And I'm like, why am I doing that today? So, anyway, sometimes when I get those big ideas and I get all manic about it and I'm like all excited and I'm telling somebody, and then a friend or will say, like, well, I thought you were going to do this. And it's like, oh, yeah, I thought that too. It went away. And I have really started witnessing in myself. If I wait long enough, that and where I beat myself up saying I'm procrastinating, honestly, it wasn't the right timing. Like I've started seeing that. Like sometimes it has kept me from injury on all kinds of
Yeah.
levels. So I've been thinking about that lately, and it's like, how do you use it as a superpower? And then it's actually discernment. It's like I want to give
Mm.
procrastination the title and the job of discernment. Does that make
I
sense?
think absolutely, because I
Let's empower it.
also, like, one of my favorite questions to ask myself is, um what would serve me now, like, and that changes a little bit. So it can be like, what will give me more energy right now? What can I do to give me more energy? What can I do to feel the way I want to feel, is kind of how I think about it. And yeah, and procrastination, I feel like it's usually either a red flag saying that you're trying to do something that's not on your path or in a way that's not conducive to your energy, or it's actually not time to do. It's actually time to restore in some way, shape, or form. So sometimes what will give me more energy is to relax a little bit and check out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what will give me more energy is to go take a walk. Sometimes what would give me more energy is to finally go and do that thing I said I was going to be doing for the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, like
But I
this.
letting my letting my like um my body and my presence to my body inform me on what's up for now, is what I think about. Like, what's up for now, what wants to be done, what wants to be acted through this physical being, right?
Mm-hmm.
For now. And that's not always productivity, folks. Being in the US, we think, well, I need to get another task on my list done. But do you really? Do you really? Or maybe you just need to vibe for a second so your people can find you.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Because when we're in that, that's one of the things that another thing that's been coming up, because we're now that I call myself a destiny catalyst. It's like, what is it that I do? I don't want to be a healer. I'm not this, I'm not that. Like, what do I do now after doing this stuff for, 30 years? And what Destiny showed me is that when you go in your heart and you connect to the energy of that, because we came in with that already wrote, we that's why we have our blueprints, all of our astrology and all of these maps, our numerology, like whatever system you want to use, they all take you to the same place. I have found that out over and over. All the different astrology, like there's tons of different ones that you can be using, and it's like the difference between gene keys and human design, and somewhere they all take you to the same places. And it's always amazing to me that when you see that, it's like, oh, it always, that's there, and that we have that
Mhm.
energy to help us and to utilize it in that way. And what Destiny was showing me, if we remember and we go into that place where that's at within us, and when I go in, it's in my high heart. It's like right here at the high heart, setting here. It's like this is
Mm.
the place that's ready to come up into the voice and speak. And then if we connect to it and and vibrate that energy out, then it's going to bring everything into alignment for us. It'll bring to
Mm.
us. It will bring the energies that are connected to the destiny path, because we've all
Absolutely.
already made an agreement somewhere before we
We've
jump in.
already done it.
When
That's the
Gaia said,
thing.
hey, girlfriend, I need some help on this planet. Will you come in and bring this vibration? And you go, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. That's going to be so fun. It's so easy. And then we get here and it's like, holy hell, what was I thinking?
You're like, what was I trying to do again?
Right.
My
But
little human
but
brain.
if we can remember to align back to that, then it's going to connect the people and we'll just know it.
Absolutely. It's just a saying, heart energy equals truth and integrity for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. She also said the biggest challenge is the subconscious and reprogramming it from all of the shite programming of childhood. I have been utilizing just feeling into emotions that do not serve me as the observer. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
So, yeah, because like that's a really good tool in relationships too. Of like kind of like just watching yourselves have the argument. Because then it really does get a little funny, because you can really see the little children playing out, right?
Yeah.
Um and it really takes
The
you out
talking
of like
heads,
the
the puppets.
seriousness of it. Like, I really feel this, and I really feel like I'm not being respected right now. I really feel, you know that you don't get me, or whatever the story is, right? So yeah, absolutely. I love that so much. I find that one of the biggest things that we don't really know how we feel. One of the second biggest things that we don't respect how we feel and how others are feeling. Um, a lot of times we try to fix how we're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a problem because the feelings aren't wrong. There's nothing wrong with having feelings. We're not trying to You shouldn't be trying to get rid of feelings. I don't care how bad you think they are. They are information, and they are energy. And so really, instead of getting rid of them, you should be honoring them and allowing them to move into some sense of flow, right? And
Right.
that is that self-expression, right?
Yeah. You know, as a in human design and Gene Keys both, did they go into, I can't remember this part of Gene Keys, like with your strategy, like I'm not your emotional wave, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's how you've got to ride those emotions and not make the decisions in it. And I have got aggravated more than once on a like human design call when they'll go, but you don't have any feelings. You're I'm splenic. And it's like, you don't have it. So why would you be feeling anything? And it's like that just like nails on a chalkboard for me, because with my open G center and open, sacral and open solar plexus, I feel fucking
Right.
everything. It's like, what do you
Yeah.
mean I don't feel it? It might not be my feelings, but I feel the whole world's feelings.
Yeah.
And I think when like here today, when the energy, I feel Earth, I feel the energy, in the atmosphere and all of that type of stuff. And we were having really high winds, and then I realized, oh, we've had tornadoes in the last year. Like I woke up and they moved Kentucky to Kansas and nobody told me. It's like, what is going on? And so that's bringing that up. It brings it up in the collective feel here. There's like some kind of, wigged out energy when you're feeling that. And so lots of times I
Yeah.
have to do that. This is not mine. How much of the feelings is not ours, and then we're feeling the collective, because we are
Yeah.
all here to feel the
Which is
collective.
kind of how we started the conversation. It's
Yeah.
like one of the things that I love about astrology is that I stop feeling crazy for feeling all the collective energies and all the transitory energy, right?
Right.
And it really helped me place things in a way that was in sync and in flow, right? So, like, instead of trying to do everything all the time, right? Allowing the phases of astrology, I think of like seasonal creational phases of astrology and my own energy to inform me what is up for now. Again, it's like how do I combine those two, right? Because I was talking about kind of being present to yourself, but it's also being in co-creation with the energy, with the people and the planet, right? Like, so it can get complex, but I feel like if you don't know where you are, then you don't know none, right? Like, like, because everything else is going to be keep shifting on you.
Mhm.
you know the outside world is going to continue to change, the transits will continue to change,
Yeah.
the feelings will continue to change, everything is going to be changing, so you must know what is present for you and the body that you came in, because that's the only thing that is at least in some way, shape, or form going to be consistent, right? Like, your birth date is your birth date, so you might be able to change things about your body, but you're not really changing that. Your imprint, your energy imprint is your energy imprint.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you up level that imprint, even if you like are living high vibrationally in your astrology, um you're still going to notice the similar cycles. They're just going to feel a lot better because you're going to be in awareness and in joy and in creation. And, instead of like, why this again? Woe is me. Like, but as a cycle is a cycle. Like, that's why it's called a cycle. It will be back.
That's
you
true.
know?
It will be back.
Yeah.
When you said that, a birthday to birthday, because we'll have people that with astrology and human design and gene keys go, but I don't know my birth time. And you know what I say to them? Yes, you do. somewhere when you jumped in here, you knew exactly what time you were going to land. And when I used to do
Mm,
hypnotherapy, and I had a office, like I don't have brick and mortar office anymore. My office is in the ethereal. And when I did, and I did hypnotherapy with people, I've done that with them. I've taken them back so they could look and see what they could see their clock, their time. It's like they didn't really,
yeah.
they could just go to the place that they signed up for all of that and get the numbers. So our subconscious knows everything. And I'm not a big pendulum user because I know I don't use it to ask yes and no's because I know that I'm going to override it, and I don't care how neutral I try to be. It's like, yeah. But for questions like that, on numbers and stuff that I have no attachment to and neutral, it's like, of
Mm,
course, somewhere in you, your body knows your times, and
yeah,
I've
I
done
never
that with
thought about
people.
that.
I've
So
taken it
you've
like,
like doused their
yeah,
time?
yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, there's
cool.
people that do the rectification charts, and it's like you can do that. But I know that everybody somewhere in them, we do know our time. Like it might not be on a piece of paper, but we know what that time is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love like for my husband, we didn't know for a while because he didn't have his birth certificate. So what I did was basically I tested transits on him to see what was coming
Right.
up and when, and I actually picked out his career transit because of course that's what we're paying attention to is money, right? So I picked out his 10th house instead of his rising, right? But I was also new at astrology when I was doing that. So, but it was so interesting because it worked out anyways because things hit us early. Like transits hit us energetically early. You're a morning person. See, I was born 3:35 p.m. and I am not a morning person.
Yeah, I think that there is something to that because I'm 7:50 a.m. and I do, actually right now I naturally get up even before that. But I have noticed that, and I've noticed that with people through, time, like people that are not owls, or they, that
Yeah.
they're not babies. They came in, they're like ready to be awake at 2 a.m. or something like that. So I do think that there is something to that, ageless. It's like I think just noticed that even before I was way into astrology, started recognizing that with people, that there is an energy
Mm.
to that. It's your own natural rhythm, I think. Somewhere that biorhythm was set up to begin with.
I agree that there's a I keep forgetting the term because but somebody I love looking at all cycles. Somebody sent me something on like the Iradian or something like that
Uh-huh.
rhythm. Um and I was looking at that and it is very true. Like I have a dip right before that time. So I have a around 2:30 I'm noticing I have a dip, you know, and I do think because my energy comes back around 3:30, right? Like I think it might be a thing. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep looking at that. I feel like cycles teach us so much. That's why I love astrology.
Yeah. Okay, lady, are
All
we ready
right.
to sign off of here?
I think we are.
This has been
And
fun.
we'll be back. So we'll double check, but I believe we'll be back on Monday. And did you did you have an energy thing you wanted to look at on Monday? Do you see anything coming up for you,
Oh, we could. We could look
Kimberly?
at
I
stuff.
don't
We
know if
could do
you
something
hold it.
every time that way, whatever's energy's going on and what's happening. Um,
You can just do like day transit.
yeah, yeah, I can look at something like that.
Yeah,
See
we can do that.
see
And
what's
then
going on.
we do have,
Venus and Jupiter are in conjunct today. So you can literally see them in the sky together. And so that's going
nice.
on from now till the 3rd. They're together in
Yeah.
Aries. So that's that. Venus in Aries is like she's a kick-ass, Venus. She's like, yeah, I can make the bacon and fry it too, I can play with the big boys and
She's
do
like, I will
whatever.
do all the things.
Yeah,
Yes.
she has that kind of energy, and then Jupiter is there. Well, I was thinking about this morning, like right now, that's like the energy of the divine masculine and the divine feminine when they come together in a conjunct like that. And then she's going to be leaving him and she's going to have a conjunct with Cryon just right after her rendezvous with Jupiter. So it's like this expansion energy
Okay.
being supported with the energy and then the healing that it's going to bring. So that's wherever they're in
That.
Aries. So whatever house that you have, that wherever your Aries is in your chart, that's the house that's going to be affected for you. You know, that's where you're going to feel the most energy. The
Yeah.
theme, the theme will be there.
So yeah,
So
the note I have is like around Aries 10 to 20 degrees. That's where those, and they're going to be like right on top of each other, exactly conjunct. That's what
yeah,
she's talking about. And then Pallas Athena is going to trine the sun this week too. So
yeah,
that's
we've got some asteroids that are coming in there and
another
playing in the
thing that
game
we can
too.
look at. Yeah. So we'll talk about that next time, and we'll talk about like the different relationships that shows up in the gene keys as well. And we will continue to have this conversation and see what else we can help you bring more understanding to your life. That's what I can
Yeah,
say.
thank you all for being the gift that you are and coming to this time we call now.
Yeah.
And it's our desire is to be to hold the energy and to be in service. So yeah, go to our pages and like, share,
Yeah.
hit the buttons.
Hit the
Because if we get
buttons.
buttons hit, then they'll show us to more people, and then we'll be like, oh, look, we feel like excited. We'll serve some more.
No, it really does help because it gives us energy to keep going.
Oh,
So
yeah, and
thank
you
you
know,
so much for
today,
being here,
because of that
Ageless.
energy being in Aries, see, we didn't even plan that. See, this is when you're in alignment, it just happens. Because that conjunct happening between the two of them, and Jupiter bringing in that divine masculine energy, and, you know, he
Mm,
brings good to where good is. And so,
mm.
and because they're in Aries, it's new beginnings. So he brings, like, she's bringing in the vibration to the people in the alignment, and he's bringing good where good is. And because they're Aries, it's all about new beginnings. So look at those
Yes.
things with yourself. If you've been procrastinating on something, use this energy right now to utilize it. Utilize the energy of that. Do one thing. If it's just one tiny thing, to step forth with it. Know that you're being supported right now.
I
Yeah,
love
this is
it.
cool. See, we just went,
Fabulous.
okay, Monday works. Let's just do this.
It works. We
Yeah,
tried it.
total
It
alignment.
works.
Yeah,
Yay. All right,
yay.
folks. We'll see you next week.
Okay, how do we end this? End broadcast.
There's a button. There's a button for it.
I see it.